everyone, my name's Oliver East and welcome to the Dice Tower. Today I'm going to be doing for you a top 10 games that came out in 2025. Of course, there's the caveat that there's thousands of games that have come out this year and I haven't been able to play all thousands of them, but I can say the 10 games that I've selected are fantastic picks, at least in my opinion. Let's jump into it. And number 10 is a really small little card game from Thunderworks Games, Fliptoons. When I originally heard the idea of this, that basically it was a deck builder where you're always only using 6 cards and you kind of most of the time want your deck to only be like 6 to 8 cards, I almost wrote it off and I'm so glad that I didn't. A lot of deck building games these days, you seemingly just keep adding to your deck more and more, and this really focuses in on that sort of streamlining element of deck building, getting rid of cards from your deck and adding better ones to it over the course of the game, and I really like how it plays out. It plays super fast, and I like that you don't see every sort of card every single time you play, even though the deck is a relatively small one. It's 100% a game you want to check out if you're a deck building fan. And number 9 is Leaders. Now, I often do skew towards 2-player games. They're just easy to get to the table, and this one is a really good 2-player duel. Think on its hammer, but every player piece has a special power to it, and you draft those powers. You start with just your leaders at either side of the battlefield, and you're trying to get 2 of your pieces next to the opponent's leader, or have them boxed in. It's a really cool one where each round you are drafting a new hero until you both have 5 on each side, and they all do cool things like move your leader further, just jump across other characters or across the side of the map. It's one of those games that grows with you as well, because you not only learn all the different powers that you might be able to draft, you start seeing little ways they could combine for your victory. If you're looking for a one-on-one tactical game, this one is definitely a great pick from 2025. There's something about Barbecubes that just absolutely grabbed me from the very first time I played it. It's a really small box game, which means it's very portable, but what good is portability if you don't want to actually play it? It's got the fun dexterity goodness that Tinder Blocks had, which this feels very much like not a direct sequel, but a similar game sort of thing. And on this you are balancing pieces of meat, or there is a vegetable equivalent, onto the barbecue. Now the barbecue, that is the box itself. So there's this really sort of satisfying clink when one of your pieces drops through the rungs of the barbecue and into the box. The only bad thing is you don't want that to happen. You are trying to balance the pieces, maybe across 2 runs, on one, and trying to squeeze it in when it's just full of food. It's nice to see a dexterity game be that sort of small and portable, and it's a lot of fun as well. Number 7 continues the fun factor of games with little soldiers. This is one that I really had a lot of hype for going in, and sometimes that can kill a game, but it didn't. It really did exactly hit the fun levels I wanted it to. Not every serious gamer is going to be into this, but you can have a busy table and still be able to play this game as your notepad, pencil case, coffee cup, bowl of cereal all becomes the terrain that your little soldiers are combating around. Throw in the fact that there's sort of grenade dice that you flick and bits of string to measure out distances. Oh yeah, you're within range, so I can re-roll the dice if I've not done very well. And it's just a lot of just pure simple fun. There are many different modes in the box for this one, and I've not had a chance to try them all. They get more sort of serious, and I don't think I want this to be serious. It's fun and just quick and rolling dice and, well, playing with like green plastic toy soldiers like you would when you were a kid. A lot of fun, and I can see this sort of hitting a lot of family tables for years to come. Koi comes from the same design team that Bonsai did a few years ago, and that was a good game, and I really liked the market element of it, And Koi, I think, steps up the other elements of it. Still has that same market sort of thing, where the first card in the market you actually have to pay for. But if you maybe let a good card move down the market, you'll get something with it when you take it. But then there's the risk someone else sees that good card and takes it before you do. And you're doing these various things, collecting tiles, different types of tiles, and then building out your koi pond, and then probably putting some koi fish in there. Without beating around the bush, the production quality is definitely helping koi here, because those fish tiles are transparent, so you put them over the top and you do then see your koi swimming around the pond. I really like the market, the way you're drafting those cards, getting extra actions at different times, building out your koi pond and scoring from a variety of different places. I also like that on your turn you're given the very easy choice of meditate and basically gain stuff, cards or tiles or whatever from the market, or work and actually put those tiles to use and build out your pond. And when you're choosing to do that, maybe losing a card in the market to work and different things like that all come together to a very fun game. Like I said, this comes from the design team of Bonsai, and if you liked that, you'll love this one as well. And number 5 is Tenby. This is a sort of city building card game where you're not crafting this grid, but these rows of streets trying to create a really sort of beautiful Welsh town. Now you're trying to get these terraces, these piers and landmarks all to sort of sync up with each other. Oh, this one has loads of lampposts on it. I want a sort of thing that's going to score lampposts kind of nearby it. And those sorts of things. Looking for clouds, flower boxes and birds and so many more things. And you're just trying to create these really quite pretty streets. And then under that, there is this almost King Domino-like market system where the earlier you go, the less you normally get for it. But you might be able to just take that card that everyone had their eye on. Or you go later in the round, getting more, but more of just what's left. It comes together in a really cool game. I'm really glad that Mighty Boards has picked this one up, so it is going to be a bit more widely available. At number 4 is Star Wars Unlimited Intro Battle Hoth. Now for me, Star Wars Unlimited is probably the best release of the year, but I'm trying to sort of put that to one side and look at just this box in isolation, because that's all a card game, but Intro Battle Hoth is a board game in my eyes. It comes in a sort of proper box with a board, with the cards to play, with the tokens. You don't need anything else. Whereas a lot of the other time, you'd open packs and you'd still need other stuff to play. This is a self-contained experience and a really good way for people to learn the game, akin to the Lorcana Gateway box, if you've played that. But what makes Star Wars Unlimited, in particular the Intro Battle Hoth, awesome is you're picking up these decks, you're playing Vader versus Leia, and it's awesome to watch those two different decks collide. One is a lot more aggressive, trying to deal a lot more damage to the base. That's Vader with his Imperials, his 8080s, and then on the other side Leia, who can sort of heal up units with Luke and R2 on her side. And you know, then you can have R2-D2 dealing the final blow and taking out Darth Vader. And you're creating these awesome little sort of story moments in what is already a thematically awesome bit of Star Wars, that battle on Hoth. You might think, why is it number 4 for me then? And that's probably because this is more aimed at introing the game to new people. If I'm going to ever introduce the game to someone new, this is probably how I would do it. But otherwise, I've got so many other decks of Star Wars Unlimited that I could play that it might not necessarily always hit the table. So as a standalone product, it's number 4 from 2025. Moving from one two-player card game to another one that's completely different is Orbiter from Korea Board Games. Now this is a hand management-y sort of card game, and what I mean by that is if you think of Scout or Nanatori Dori, one of those ones where you get a hand of cards but you can't move the cards around, they're sort of stuck in that order. That's what you're getting here, but there's no numbers, it's only colours. And you're trying to, most of the time, win these sort of tricks that you're playing, because you're moving these planets and it's got sort of an orbit number that it gets to. And if the orbit number you get to is bigger than the other player's orbit number that they've moved a moon to, you gain all the cards from that trick. And therefore, sometimes you want to lose cards. And that's where it gets interesting, because if you have the majority of a colour at the end of the game, you score as many points as the other player has won cards of that colour. So if you have the majority, but you have all of the cards, that's great, you win that colour, and you get no points for it. A really fast, quick two-player card game, that ticks a lot of boxes for me. That's Orbiter. And number 2 is the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game. And it has a very long name, but it is also a very good game. So in this, it's sort of think The Crew, or one of those cooperative sort of trick-taking games that you may have played, and then throw in some Lord of the Rings theme. So there are a few characters that I wasn't aware of that come up on the sort of the journey, because you play across these missions and they introduce new characters that have new win and loss conditions, maybe introduce new cards or whatever into the mix. Frodo, for instance, wants to win a lot of the ring cards for some reason, whereas other characters maybe care about a certain valued mountain card, or only winning one trick or two. I wouldn't necessarily say this should be your first ever trick-taking game, but if you're a fan of trick-taking like me, this is a clever spin on trick-taking, where you are doing it cooperatively. I do think sometimes they try and add too much into trick-taking, but this strikes the balance really well. And like I say, there's many missions. I think it's like 18 in the box, and each one of those is going to play out differently. And then you can replay them as well, of course. Some people didn't like the art style that they've gone for, sort of like a stained glassy look, but I think it's really bright, bold, and I kind of like that they went for something a little bit different. For me, I like it, but it might not be for you, so I can understand that. But gameplay-wise, if you like trick-taking games, this is definitely one you should be playing, whether you like Lord of the Rings or not. And last, but certainly not least, as it's my #1 game of the year, is Star Wars Battle of Hoth. And yeah, you might be thinking, hang on a minute, but no, there have been 2 games released this year with very similar names, and both are in my top 10. But Star Wars Battle of Hoth is based upon Memoir 44, or the Command and Colours sort of series, where you are using cards to activate different zones of the board, maybe saying activate 2 of your units on the left zone, the middle zone, or the right zone, and you can be the Imperials or the Rebels. If you're a fan of Memoir 44 at all and Star Wars, this is a no-brainer for you, because it's super, super fast, fun sort of, not wargamey action, but you are moving units around on a hexagonal grid and then rolling dice to assign hits. Memoir 44 for me has been a game I've enjoyed and played in the past, and then with the Star Wars theming on top, it's just perfect. My ideal way to play is you play a scenario and then you flip the board around and replay the exact scenario again, but from the other side, because then, oh, that seems really harsh on the Imperials. They had like no troops that time. Oh, you think that's why I won? Let's flip the board round and now I'm going to beat you as the Imperials as well. Well, at least that's what my plan is. And you know, you do get those luck of the drawing the cards. You get the luck of rolling the dice and getting the exact symbols you need. But it's also a 30-minute fun experience. But for me, that's why it's #1, because I have had so much fun playing this one. The dice, yes, can go against you, but they can also go in your favour, and you pull a victory out of the jaws of defeat, taking down an 80-80 when the odds are stacked against you to do that. I've just really had a lot of fun this one, as with all of the games on this list. Hopefully you've heard about some cool games here. Let me know, out of my 10, what one didn't deserve to be on the list or deserve to be in number 1? Let us know in the comments section below. And until next time, have a fantastic year of gaming.
Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.